talking a lot this week about plants, and one thing we know for sure is that plants require sunlight and water, okay? Definitely two important things to a plant. So today I thought I would set up a couple of experiments just to show you how a plant drinks water, because it's kind of like a funny thing, right? We know how we drink water, we drink through our mouths and stuff, but the question is, how does a plant drink water? We know, drinks it from the roots and stuff, but it's fun just to look to see how it actually happens. So for this first experiment, I took a piece of celery, all right, and I took one of the inner celery pieces. So you almost have to break it apart a little bit and grab a piece from the middle because it has leaves. Okay, so I then took a clear cup so we can see through it, and I added some water and red food coloring. And as you can see, it has absolutely changed the color of the leaves. That's because the celery is actually drinking the water and it's coming out as a different color in the leaves. But I wanted to show you just how this particular plant is able to drink. So if we take it out of the water, okay, and we break it apart, okay, like this, and if you can zoom in there, we can see these little, they're calling them straws, okay, and you can see all the red that's traveling from the bottom and heading up, okay, and it's actually drinking it all the way up. Those are called xylems, all right, and they act as little drinking straws for the plant that carries the water all the way up to the leaves and things like that, okay? Xylem, it's a pretty big word. All right, for the second experiment, I happened to find these beautiful white carnations at the grocery store. So I said, might be fun to try these out and maybe change the color. All right, and that also shows that the plant is drinking the water. All right, so for this I took my white carnations and I mixed red food coloring, maybe just a drop. Boop. All right, and I put in a little yellow because when you mix red and yellow, you get a different color, right? Two primary colors mixed together will give you a secondary color. All right, so I then mixed that up. Okay, we see we get a nice orange color. All right, and I left this carnation in the orange water for a couple of days. All right, and then you can scan over here and see what happened. So this carnation was able to drink all of this water, and it traveled all the way up to the beautiful petals, right? And it turned the petals the same color as the water. Now, here's another way that you can see that these plants are actually, or these flowers are actually drinking water. So when I started this activity, I took some clear tape, okay? Because I didn't want to ruin my glass, all right? And I just wrapped the tape around the glass. And I put a line, all right where the water level was when I started. So when I started, the water was all the way up to here, okay? And as you can see, day 2, day 3, day 4, all right? The water is getting less and less, all right? The water level has gotten lower. That's because these plants are drinking this water. Pretty cool, huh? All right, and then for the last activity, this has to do with sunlight and water. So I'm going to take one of the carnations, okay, and I'm going to take away the sunlight and the water. So I am going to wrap it tight in this napkin. Because I'm just curious to see just how important water and sunlight are to a plant. We know that it's important, but I just want to see. So I'm going to put this in a bag. All right, so no water. And one way to block out the sun, or any kind of light for that matter, is to put it in something dark. So I found these dark gloves. All right, so I'm going to tuck it in there, and I'm actually going to put it someplace that's dark, and I'm going to keep it in there for a couple of days. And I'm curious just to see what you think is going to happen to this flower. What do you think? All right, think about it, and then I'll show you. Okay, so unfortunately, this is what happened to the carnation that I did not give sunlight or water to for the past 5 or so days. So as you can see, it's looking pretty sad. All right, and again, this is just to show the importance of why flowers and plants need sunlight and water. So this is a carnation that has been in water and has had sunlight, right? And it also had the orange food coloring. But this one, we took out of the water and we kept it out of the sunlight. So you can see what happens and why water and sunlight are extremely important to plants and flowers. I want to show you something else too, which I noticed the other day. So I have these tulips over here, all right? I keep them in this room because there's a lot of sunlight. You see these windows here? These windows provide a lot of sunlight to the plants. The other day, I came in and all of the tulips were facing this way, all right? Like this one. They were all over like this, facing the window. Why? They were trying to get to the sunlight. So when I came in, I took them and I turned them this way. So now they're all facing this way. Would you not know that in a couple of days' time, they have all lifted this way and they're facing now again back toward the window to get the sunlight. This one, definitely. But when I had turned them, they were all folded over this way. Now the last couple days, they have picked themselves up and they are heading back to this direction to grab some of the sunlight. So tulips are a great flower to have to try this experiment with. And it's very interesting. It takes a couple of days, but you will see. Flowers tend to look towards the sunlight because they need it so much. So just a cool little thing I noticed. All right, so now you clearly see how important sunlight and water are to plants.